Good morning and welcome to Klingspor's Woodworking Shop 21st Annual Woodworking Extravaganza Virtual Edition. I'm Mike Z.
I am Chris, and it is Saturday morning. Everybody ready for today?
I hope so because today is going to be interesting for sure. So what we have is we have on tap Scott Caskey. He has done some turning for us, and we got two videos of his, and we're going to at least show one of them because they're about 45 minutes long. But he starts all the way from the log. He had cut it and then he basically put it right on the lathe and shows you how to turn it. And it's a burl, it's a maple burl. So there's some very interesting techniques he tries. And we'll see if they make it through the video. But let's see. Thank you so much for joining us. Whoop, whoop. Here we are. So let's do a quick rundown of the sales that we have. We also have a special video from Chris on tap as well. But let's go. Oh, yeah. No, hey, don't ruin it. So 10% off ArborTech until the end of the month on select ArborTech items. You can also save 10% off CA glue and CA glue accessories at woodworkingshop.com. One big deal we have is 30% off books. And this week we had two authors that we carry books for, both in CNC. They are 30% off this week, as well as DVDs. What about 15% off abrasive discs? All Klingspor abrasives are 15% off. This deal, by the way, ends today. So if you hadn't caught it yet, it's going to be today is the last day for these types of deals, other than the ArborTech, because that's the end of the month.
Sometimes you got to get off the fence and just take advantage of the deals.
Yeah. Especially abrasives. What about 15% off sheets, rolls, belts? So everything Klingspor abrasives related is 15% off. Ends today.
So if you're a woodworker and you need to sand, take advantage of the deal.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. 10% off micro jig and micro jig accessories. And we had them, we had them on yesterday. Ralph Bagnall with them came in. 10% off Mohawk finishes. And his name's literally Ricky Bobby. It's great. He was from Mohawk. He did a great job of showing us the hard fill kits. Klingspor's Woodworking Shop has two specialty hard fill kits. So if you go to our website, woodworkingshop.com, just search hard fill, and you'll be able to find the hard fill kits, and they are a great touch-up item. I mean, easy peasy, well worth the investment. The biggest deal we have, though, for the entire week, for me, that I found, is that Next Wave CNC is having this great special of a 2-horsepower spindle, free. Okay, so I want you to think about this. You buy the CNC machine, and you can actually get the spindle for free. That's $800 value. On top of that, today is the last day of it, but for the extravaganza, Next Wave has knocked off 10%. So you're saving 10% on the machine and a free 2-horsepower spindle. That's about $1,200 savings.
Yeah, and Mike, these are on their HD machines. And while you've got that graphic up, everybody just take a quick look down at the bottom left corner of that graphic. That little flag waving over there, that giant made in the USA symbol. To me, that is a fantastic way to show support. If you're looking to get into CNC, Next Wave's got a great brand. They've got great products, good support, and you don't have to worry about, well, what else do I need? Because they're giving you the software, the Vectric software to operate it, and they're giving you the spindle. So for crying out loud, man, take advantage of that. And with 10% off and that free spindle, what a deal.
And if you're looking for what's the difference on a spindle, why wouldn't I use a router? Wednesday, we covered that with our CNC Basics session. And really, the spindle is quieter, more efficient. When it's water cooled, it'll run longer, and it's easier to obtain because those are U.S. made.
Yep. And not only that, but if you're a woodworker, you've heard how loud and obnoxious routers are. Okay, so spindles have no noise. And a lot of times you don't even hear them on. So, they're that quiet. The only thing you really hear is the bit running. So, and it's a pretty good deal. And they give you all the stuff to be able to hook that up. So it's man, that's good pricing on that Next Wave. And that's on the 24 by 24 or the 25 by 25, the HD 510, and then the HD 520, which is 25 by 50. That is a beast of a bed there to be able to get you started in the CNC.
So now that's definitely probably the best deal we have for the show, especially on machinery, because that's a heck of a savings and a great upgrade. So save yourself $800. get the 2 horsepower upgrade.
Yep.
But if you want to do it manually and bust out the old angle grinder, 10% off King Arthur tools and 10% off Kutzall tools, including their files and rasps. And if you haven't used those yet or seen those, highly suggest going over to woodworkingshop.com, search up Kutzall, and they have these rasps that are carbide. I don't know how to describe it other than it's really a game changer if you're used to using rasps for detail work or for things of those lines that you would normally use a rasp on wood. These are a lot better than the old metal type.
Yep. Yeah, even if you're not a power carver and you don't do any rotary work whatsoever, you need to check out their rasps for the money. Tough to be beat, and they come in so handy. So,
boy, seems like we have more than that, which we do, like this. But so a lot of things are 10% off. Just head to the website, and we'll go over actually shopping the website to kind of show you, because the thing that we did is that some prices were too low to where we might upset some of our vendors and manufacturers. So what you have to do is click on the actual product, and on the product page, it'll show you the discount. So when you're searching for it, it has the normal retail price, but when you click on it, you'll get to see the sweet deals that are inside. Let's see here. So any questions or comments, by all means, please let us know. We're here to help you in your woodworking journey, in the entire adventure of woodworking.
Yeah. And what we'd love for you to do is drop us a comment. Tell us what your favorite part of the week was. Maybe you didn't catch us live. Maybe you've been kind of watching some of it at night to kind of catch up on some of the things there. Drop us a comment and let us know what your favorite part was from this week's extravaganza. Since everything was virtual, it does make it nice and easy to be able to follow along and watch it at your convenience. But, you don't want to wait too long because, hey, some of these deals end today.
Yeah, midnight. So you might want to jump on it. All right.
My favorite part personally was the CNC. I love the CNC part. That was just my favorite, segment. But then again, I'm also a huge fan of microjig. So, getting to hang out with Ralph was pretty cool yesterday.
Yeah, and then a lot of times what I really liked about hanging out with Ralph is that he talks exactly the same, on or off camera. He's how do we put it? He's very particular in the way that he says things.
Yeah.
And so talking with him, we're not even allowed to see the new things coming up because Ralph is actually the head of R&D over there. So he's helping try to figure out jigs and different uses for it and what else they could possibly bring to the table to make it more safe and user friendly. That dado stop, I don't even have a need for it, but I know that I could use that for something later. And it's $25 for that.
I have it and use it for things that it's not intended for.
Do you have videos on that?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because it's just random things. I'm like, you know what? I bet I could use this, and it works. It works for sure the way it's intended, and it, like he said, it does give a dead tight joint because you're essentially dealing with, this references the inside of the blade, this references the outside of the blade, and this references your cut. So there's nothing left. You're left with a very, very clean, sharp, exact cut. So as long as you get your thickness correct, your height of your blade right, you're good to go.
Absolutely. And if you want to see more videos and you're not quite sure where to get them, on our YouTube channel, Klingspor's Woodworking Shop, or Woodworking Shop is the channel name. We have all of the past live streams on there. Each one has its own, graphics, so you can tell which day it was. And with the micro jig one, that was also built by Stevie. So when you go in there and you watch his video, what was really interesting is that when he cut for the presentation and he fit it together, it was so tight he didn't need glue. So that just shows you how accurate Chris is telling. Wood turning ordered yesterday. Roger, thank you. You've actually been on with us most of the week, so we appreciate you watching and hanging out and asking questions. You've had some really good questions this week.
So and clearly you've had nothing else better to do than hang out with us, which is fantastic. We appreciate that.
We do thank you for joining us.
You must have taken vacation time all week just to come hang with us. Man, that's awesome. What a guy.
Checks in the mail.
Yeah.
We got to get him a hat for his order. We'll go find his order and give him some hats and stuff. All right. So let's see. I'm going to do actually, since we were talking microjig, I'm going to show, so the 60-second video you made for microjig, tell us all about it. Not just me. What are we about to watch here? Why did you do this?
Well, microjig had a contest to they send it out obviously to on all their platforms, and they wanted people who are using microjig to share either the one thing that they've made that utilizing the microjig system that's changed their shop, or if microjig has kind of taken over their shop. And so, my submission was 60 seconds, and it just showcased how I got started in the microjig, and then kind of some of the many, many, many ways I'm utilizing it now.
Yes. You ready? It's your
Sure,
video.
why not?
Here we go.
Yeah, that table is fantastic.
So what is next?
I've got a few things. Yeah. They just released their video of all of the winners, and so I watched through that, and it was got some inspiration for a few things. I've been debating on how I wanted to integrate it into my CNC work and into other facets, and so I'm gonna see what we do from there.
I don't know if there's any other place to be, really. Not on a Saturday morning, not this early.
There is, but it wouldn't be near as much fun.
Oh, that's true. Plus, there'd be a lot of traffic if it's here in North Carolina because the leaves are changing. So, therefore, heading to the mountains this weekend is not advisable if you live here. Now, if you're visiting, by all means.
Guaranteed, this is the one of the safest environments available right now. It's
The
pretty
road
safe.
rage factor is very low here. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, again, if you have any comments, please let us know. We're going to show you the Scott Caskey video. And at any time you have comments while you're watching it, feel free. We can always stop it. We're in control of this stream. So, if we need to stop and, answer some questions, we can do that. But what he's going to show you is Scott is a very aggressive turner. Okay. So he will tell you that, don't do exactly as he does. Do what you feel is safe. Some of the things that I see him do, sometimes I'm like, dang, I never would have thought of trying that. And one of them is in the video where he's going to try to part off the majority of the burl to save it for another bowl. And unfortunately, inside, there seems to be an issue with the burl. So it turns very interesting very quickly. I'll put it to you that way. You ready to go? Here we go.
Bring it.
Hey, I'm Scott Caskey. I'm here at the Klingspor Woodworking shop, going to explain how to turn a burl that was on a tree a little while ago, or at least a hunk of a tree. We cut this off, and we're going to go through the process of actually turning a natural edge bowl out of it. I'm a member of the wood turning club here at the store, and also help them do demos from time to time. And I'm just here to have some fun. Let's make some wood chips, and hopefully we'll get a bowl out of it. All right, we're going to take this burl and we're going to mount it in the lathe, and we're going to shape actually the bottom side first. I'm going to mount it in this general direction, but before we do that, we need to kind of have an idea where the center part is. So we're going to look for where basically the centerpiece is. I'm just going to use a compass to get me a reference point, so I can just take it and just spin it around and kind of get me an idea of roughly where the center is. It don't have to be perfect because we're going to shift it a little bit when we're on the lathe. And just by eyeballing, that's not too far off. So there, we're about the edge. This has got a little piece of edge here that's going to disappear because of that's where the stalk was, so it'll round in, so that's good. So basically right in there, and I'm going to put a mark on it with a Sharpie, and I always tend to put a a 3-point, so I know where I had the center, because if you just put a dot, you may miss it once you get it up in the air. All right, the other thing you got to be careful of when you're doing this is watch where your banjo is. As big as this is, I'm not going to be able to slide it out from under it, so I'm going to move the banjo to the other side when I go to mount it. And we're going to slide the tailstop. Here, and I'm going to get it close to that dot. And I'm going to kind of spin it and try to figure out see how out of round I am right now, or off that plane. I'm going to try to get it close to vertical. All right. What we're still trying to do is get this fairly close to plane. Then we're going to look at the edge and see kind of where we're hitting. You see where my finger's hitting. I'm hitting hard there. I'm backing off here, so I need to roll it down. So I'm just going to loosen this up, and I'm going to drop her down just a smidge. And we're going to do it again, get it fairly close. And since it's just a rough chainsaw cut, that's pretty good. And looking at where we've got, we're going to have a decent balanced piece. If you see on this side here, the two edges, now granted I pulled some of the bark off because it was going to fly off anyway. The two high spots are about the same. So we're pretty balanced. So that's where we're going to want to be. Now I'm going to lock this thing down and tighten her up. And if you do notice my dot, if you can see it, my little dot's shifted up a little bit from where I had found the center. So it said it was just a rough location. All right, and before I turn the lathe on, I'm going to hand spin it and make sure that don't happen when I turn it on. Get me a little bit of clearance. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start flattening this out, and I'm going to roll it over. And this is going to be the bottom of the bowl. The top's going to be over here. So we're going to keep the burly edge on the top side and then work it down. And I can see a little bit of figure in the bottom, so this will work good for the foot and that type of thing. And we'll wind up removing the sapwood, which don't have a lot of figure on this outside edge. All right, to start off with, we're going to start turning the backside and get to the foot setup. And to start off with, I'm going to have the speed turned all the way down. I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to start giving the speed up a little bit. Always kind of stand off to the side, not direct line when you're first starting off, in case anything flies off. And what I'm looking for is the vibration in the lathe. I like to have the speed high, as high as I can, within reason, without it, really shaking really bad. And since it's so uneven shape, right here is where I'm going to leave it. And according to this, we're roughly 550 RPM until we start making the first couple cuts. Also, I'm using a large bowl gouge, and it's kind of got an Ellsworth style grind on it. This is a Sorby gouge and a Sorby handle. And if you notice, I am still staying to this side of center, so when these chunks of bark and all are flying off, they're coming off to the side of me and not hitting me directly. It makes it a little easier. Now that I've got the rough edge knocked off, I'm going to pull the tool rest in a little bit, and I actually will clear the banjo now, so that's a good thing. All right, I'm just going to turn it back on and leave it on the same speed, and I am going to snug the tailstock up a little bit more. right, now that we made a few passes, we can start seeing what type of figure we got in this wood, and it's got some nice figure in it. And you can start seeing how the edge of the shape is going to be. So now that we're getting rid of that sapwood, we're starting to see all of our figure. So now I'm going to work in getting me a place down here for the foot as well. Now that I'm getting in here, I'm going to drop the tool rest down just a hair, go to a little bit smaller gouge, just a little easier to control. The bigger gouges are great for mass removal. I'm going to go to a little bit smaller bowl gouge. Now this one here is actually a crown tool in a Sorby handle. And I'm going to bump the speed up just a little bit because I'm going to be going closer to the center so I can take a little bit higher RPM on it. Roughly 700 RPM. Let's see if we got rid of our chainsaw marks, which we did. And it's got a little bit of punk in it. You can hear it. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but it has a little bit of a hollow sound. So after I kind of cut my pin, I'm going to leave it a little large, and then I'm going to put some CA glue in to make it solid. But I'm going to go ahead and leave it right here, and I'm going to start working my way down to have an area for a tenon. All right, now we've got a rough tenon shape on the bottom. Now comes the decision on which size chuck jaws. Since this is feeling a little punky, I was going to use a smaller jaw. Now I'm going to try to go to a larger jaw. All right. So I'm going to use a larger chuck. This is typically how I set up for my tenon. I'll go ahead and shut the jaws down all the way. And I'll take a pair of OD calipers, the little cheapies that you can get pretty much everywhere. I'm going to open it up until I go just past the outside at the corner to corner of the jaws, or directly across from where the jaws are. Right here. This gives me a little bit of play room, but yet it's close to the best place you're going to have the most grip is when the jaws are completely closed. But you still need to have a little bit of space so you can keep on retensioning or whatever if you need to. So I like to have it a little bit larger. So I always cut my tenon to where it goes just basically to the outside edge of the jaws. That gives me a little bit of room to move. So if I open this up just till it goes past like that, I can transfer this over onto the block of wood, which is roughly where I'm at now. So I about went too small, but it should be close enough for us to work. So since I've already got this close, I'm going to go ahead and take CA glue, and I'm going to put glue all the way around this tenon and let it harden that up since it does have some spalt in it. I'm going to use thin CA glue, and word of warning, if you're wearing a face shield, take it off when you put your glue on because that vapor comes up and it'll force it right to your face and it will make your eyes burn. So take it off. I'm telling you from experience. I'm just laying it on pretty thick because the only thing it's going to be doing is hardening this area. Let it soak in. Because we're going to wind up turning it away anyway, so that's a good little bit of glue. Give it a second. I'm just going to spin it by hand so it don't just run everywhere. And I can already smell the glue, and it's kind of making eyes burn anyway. But now I'm going to hit it with the accelerator to quickly set it. And you can see how it foams up. Also, word of warning, if your hands are wet and this stuff hits, it will flash on your hands and do the same thing because water will accelerate the drying process and it will burn you because it does actually flash on fire. So, but now it's completely dry and now we can go back and true up the tenon so we can work with it. And I'm going to just turn the speed back down and just let it go for another second and let some of the vapors get away because I'm still smelling them pretty heavy. That was a good bit of glue. All right. Right now I'm going to go to a small spindle gouge that is, the only way I can describe this grind is if you've ever seen Chris Ramsey turn hats, he uses it to get inside the hats because it's not a traditional shape. It's actually rounded completely over. But it works really well to get that hard shoulder down in and true up a corner for a tenon, or you can use a bedan or a skew even for that little bit of touch up. So I'm going to speed the lathe back up, probably around 700 again, because that's where it was turning pretty good. That's roughly 700. I'm just going to come in and just true up that tenon. And also, the tenon is going to be slightly papered inwards towards the bowl like this, so it'll suck it in when it tightens up. And now that I've done that, I've taken away some of the glue. I'm going to go back and put just another quick touch on top of it. As I said, you can do this now, or you can go back and remount it and go through this again. So you might as well just go ahead and do it now once and be done with it. Take that thing back off again. Whew. Not using near as much glue this time. All right, so we're set. Now that we got a tenon placed, I'm going to go ahead and finish shaping the outside and actually sand the outside before we go work on the inside. Because right now the tailstock is a lot smaller to work around than the headstock, so you can swing better and all with your sander and everything else. So I'm going to, as I said, do as much as I can from this position. Set y'all up here out of the way. I'm going to move the tool rest closer to the area in which I'm going to be working in, is up in here. So I'm roughly 900 RPM now. I want to do a little faster so I can work on that shaping and cleaning. The other thing, if you notice, if you're turning a burl compared to a regular piece of wood, you're not getting these really long shavings off of it. You're getting smaller pieces. And that's because of the shape or the grain pattern in the wood. It's breaking up as it comes off. So most time you look for those long trilly Q shavings to know how good your cut is. Well, you really can't do that with a burl that easily. Take a look at this shape. So we got a kind of a nice OG shape into it. So right here, coming out there, directly across, so it's fairly balanced. So this shape here should do pretty good. I'm going to go to a different gouge. I can still feel just a little bit of moisture in it. This tree's been cut for a while and been sitting on a pallet back in the store here. So it's somewhat dry. It's somewhere in the middle. If it was either dead green or dead dry, you would get a better finish on it. I'm going to another Sorby handle with a crown tool, and this is definitely the cryo steel, which is a real good steel. It keeps an edge for a long period of time, and really sharp edge. So unlike the standard high-speed steel, won't hold the edges long. These hold the edge about as long as the powder metal, or as long as the powder metal, but keeps that real fine edge like kind of like a razor blade. So. I'm just barely easing the speed up. I'm roughly 950 now, so I can try to clean up that surface. Because whatever I can do with the tool, I don't have to sand. So I'd rather get as much of it cleaned up with the tool as possible. I'm working on just a small section at a time with that burl in it. The burl section is still staying rough, and that's also where it's somewhat punky. You can see the spalt lines in it, and right there's where it's softer. Where it's harder, it's definitely getting a cleaner cut. So I'm just kind of working in small areas on the way out, and so I can try to get as clean as I can with the tool. Then after that, I'm going to sand it. I'm used to my big Powermatic, where that's where the e-stop is. All right. Now, just for the grins and giggles factor, I'm going to take and try doing a push cut in here and see if that cleans up any better right in this shoulder. Sometimes you got to reposition your tool and come at a different angle, and you may get a better result. So I'm going to try it. If it'll save me some sanding, I'll take it. As I said, my e-stop's down there, or is up there. And it appears it does about the same as the pull cut. Not a lot of difference. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to sand and sand this outside edge. Okay. All right. We're going to start sanding. I'm going to turn the speed back down because no need to have super high speed. Roughly 100 RPM, 200, somewhere in that area. And since it's turning, the lathe is turning this way, I'm going to have my sanding disc to turn the other way. All right, you can see a lot of that is going away. Now that I've got the first layer, especially on this rougher, coarser grits, I'm now going to reverse the lathe, and I'm going to reverse the direction on the drill as well. as I said, we're not going for perfect right now, but we're trying to get as much of it as we can. So if we have to do any shaping or whatever different, now we still got all this other stock here to work. There is a good little bit of tear out because it's where it's punky up in here. So we're going to have a good little bit of sanding to do. Just going back the other direction again. Okay, since we're getting a lot of tear out in the areas where the spalting is, I don't know if you can see it on the cameras or not, but there's a lot of little chunking. So you basically, instead of wasting your time saying, oh, I can stand it, like start at 200 grit, go to the grits you need and remove and then just work your way through. My sanding disc that I have only go to 80, so I just grabbed a piece of 40 and I'm going to go ahead and remove this and I'm going to go back to 80 and then take out the marks from this. So that's what I'm doing. And typically hand sanding, I like to go in reverse so it's going away from me so I can work from the top side. So I'm going to go reverse, turn it on, and you can see the heavy scratch marks in it, which means I'm removing stock a lot faster, but I am going to have to speed up a little bit because I was only like 200 RPM. I'm going to probably go about 450, and then the thing is, if you need to start with a cinder block, use a cinder block, folks. Don't let your pride get in your way. Also, if you notice what I'm doing, since this is an uneven edge on here, I'm pulling back on the sandpaper this way, and I'm putting my hand up here, so when the rough edge comes in, it hits it that way, and I'm not pushing it into the edge and getting caught. Do that and keep the paper moving. Now let's see what we've got. That has taken a lot of that tear out. Now, even though I like to turn that way when I'm doing hand, you can go the other direction and remove some more of the other direction. That is much, much better and a lot quicker than sitting there trying to go through with the 80 grit. So I'm going to go just a little bit longer this way. I'm going to flip back the other direction. All right, now I can get my 80. Also, if you're using these right angle drill to sand with, either take an air compressor occasionally and blow them out, or take them and tap them with them running, and it'll help blow the dust out of them. Since I had played with it so much to begin with, I'm getting a fresh pad so I can take full advantage of the grip. All right. Now, little tip for you at home. You can come to Klingspor, you can get your 3-inch disc in boxes like this. A little trick that you can do to keep them all together is to actually tape the boxes together. This one just had popped off, but tape your boxes together, they're in order. And if you haven't completely used the disc up, you can stand them up on the edge as you're going through, and you can just zip through your grits fairly easy. Like that was 80, now I'm going to 120. The other thing that would be really good for you at home is to put a fan off to the side and blow, even if you are wearing a mask, just to get the majority of the dust away from you. And that way it's not blowing up in your face. But at home, I always have a fan pushing air across me while I'm sanding. All right, as you can see, this outer piece right here, it's real solid, really shining up real pretty. The other, I don't think it's going to get that real super high luster unless you harden it with lacquer or something else. And I'm going to go a little bit more on this. All right. For right now, since we know we're going to have to do some work on the foot and everything else later, we've got the worst of the sanding done, so we're to the shape that we shouldn't have to go back and redo anything else unless something strange happens later. But at least we got the heavy part of the sanding done, and we know this is the shape we're going to try to keep. So I'm going to stop here for now, and then once we do the inside, then we'll come back and finish sanding the outside. But this way, if there was anything in it that popped up when you were sanding, you could go ahead and work through it. It just makes it a little easier, especially when you get your tailstock here, and it's also easier to change your design now since you have a lot of stock to play with. All right. All right, now that we've got the heaviest of the sanding done on the outside, and I said it's not perfect because we're going to chance of hitting and everything else, and also we still got to do the foot. So now I'm going to take it, I'm going to spin it around and actually chuck it in here up to the headstock. So we're going to back the tailstock back. Get out of the way for a second. We're going to knock the drop spur out. Put my chuck on. This is a one-way stronghold chuck. It's with the larger jaws. Pretty much all the stronghold or all the one-way chucks and the Nova chucks are really good chucks. These are what I had to begin with, and that's the reason why they look like they've been around forever, because they've been around for 20-some years, and I'm not Morris Schlesinger. I'm not taking the time to basically make it look like a new car every time I use it. So it looks used. All right. I'm just going to hold this up here, and I'm going to tighten her down. Maybe. I do have both styles of chucks. So the one thing about a one-way chuck compared to the Nova is they tighten and loosen in the opposite direction, so from one another. And yes, I am tightening down on it pretty heavy because it is faulted, and I want to make sure it's got a good grip in it. All right. Now if we look, it's slightly out of round or out of balance, but not bad. We're talking just a minute little bit. So now we've got an opportunity, if we want to, we can try to take a hunk out of the center and use it for something else, which I'm going to attempt to do, and we'll see how that plays. I'm going to put the tailstop back up on it for support, and I'm going to put a little tension in it and make sure it's running smooth. I'm going to be using part of the McNaughton center saver, but I'm not using their tool rest. I'm just going to use a standard tool rest, and I'm using the straight blade in it as a parting tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and just pierce and take a hunk out of this. I'm going to kind of eyeball where I've got room, and I'm going to go straight in. And what I try to do is make sure I hold my tool over where the post of the banjo is, or the tool rest is in the banjo. That way it doesn't try to torque on me and roll. Now the only thing about this is you got to be careful. You got to open your gap when you're doing this, so it don't bind on you and then basically pull down. If you're new to turning, you may not want to try this, but it will save a nice pretty piece of wood here. So as I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it like this, and I'm just going to pierce straight in, and I'm not going to be saving as many pieces as you could if you use the full one-way system or the McNaughton system for doing it, but I am going to save a hunk of this, and it's fairly easy to do. First of all, make sure you're going forward, turn your speed back down since we haven't started it up since we've turned it around, and I'm going to turn the speed up. The thing about when you're doing this, you want your speed to be somewhat high, but not overly high that it's going to like sling and chunk stuff completely everywhere. I'm looking to, if I get a bad vibration or something, I'm kind of looking for that point, and then I would back up. Right now I'm roughly 750 RPM. The other thing is I'm going to position my tool rest where I'm going perpendicular to it, going straight out. This kind of gives me a guide. Do that and let's see what we're getting. All right, we're going in, no problem. We haven't even made it all the way around to hit solid wood yet, so I'm going to try to open the gap up a little bit. And as I said, you do not have to do this. You could just go ahead and turn the whole inside out, but I'm going to try to save a piece up. That's what I was saying, it can bind on you. Alrighty. Let's try that again. Well, we bound hard. We're probably going to scrap this idea on this piece because there may be something solid in here that I'm hitting that's cocking it. I'm going to take and straighten that out later. Okay. So, all right. So there's nothing ever goes completely as planned. I was going to try to save a piece out of it, but oh well. We're going to do what we've got here. So since we're scrapping that idea, and I have a feeling it's because of the spalting and in the super hard, and it's causing it to torque, is what caused that to happen. So we can straighten that out later in the shop. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and just remove stock. Also, you can see we're a little bit more out of round here because of when it did that and that being spalted, it cocked it a little bit. That was another reason why I kept the tailstock on it. So I'm going to see if I can get that more solid again. So I'm going to loosen her up, just press that in, and lock her back down. And it really didn't help it much. We'll just work with it. There may have been some of that void in the middle of with the bark inclusion that I was feeling. All right, I'm getting the tool rest a little bit closer so it's not hanging over as far. All right, now that we've got the vast majority of this removed here, I'm going to leave this little piece in the post in the middle just for support while I'm shaping the rest of this inside as long as I can, because anytime you can keep pressure on both ends, it'll help keep it from doing weird stuff moving on you. So it's just a little extra support on the piece. So I'm going to move the tool rest in a little bit where I can now start working on the wall thickness here. And go to a smaller. Pretty much all the tools I'm using are going to be an Ellsworth style grind on either a Crown or a Sorby tool, and find that to be the best shape. And all of mine are set to the same angles. Don't ask me what they are. I've said it and I forgot about it. It's the Ron Pilko way of sharpening. So anyway. If you're interested in seeing how to do that, Klingspor has some videos up where I've demoed how to sharpen them before, so you can go look for those as well. if you notice, I'm kind of working this in as a small step, and also I'm trying to figure out how much of the wall thickness I'm wanting to leave based on the structure of the wood. So right now I'm probably just a little under ½ inch right up in here, and it actually feels like a good thickness for this, especially starting to see the spot lines going in circles. So I'm going to go a little bit deeper in to the bowl and then take a look at it, and then I may come back and remove a little bit more of it. Yeah, the way it's feeling, that's probably going to be the wall thickness I'm going to continue to go with. So we can remove a little bit more stock here in the center and then go down a little bit deeper. All right, we're a little thicker in the bottom than we're on the sides. Yeah, I bet you if at night there's a piece in here that's really soft I can stick my finger in, I bet you it's acts like foxfire. It may actually glow in the dark from the mold or fungus in it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove the cone piece in the center. I'm going to actually just see if I can chunk that little hunk there out, work it down.
Alrighty, so that was Mr. Scott Caskey showing us how to, turn a bowl basically from the beginning.
Yeah, he's got some interesting techniques, and one of the cool things, if you watch some of the other turning videos, is, he went with a tenon on the foot, whereas others like to do a recessed foot. And later, and I don't know if that part will get shown, but he does show how he takes that tenon and actually carves it away with power carving tools and turns that into a 3-footed little bowl. So there's a lot of ways when you get into turning and a lot of different techniques and a lot of methods. And I like the fact that we've got all these different turners who like to perform different operations and show a variety of techniques and how they do their stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do have the second video of that because that was part of the power carving side, was that he used a Merlin 2 from King Arthur to sand and carve away a lot of the area to give it 3 feet. So, but you're absolutely right on that as far as having the tenon sticking out, and I think he did that mostly too because of the stability and being a
Mhm.
burl, it being punky, that he could harden up that tenon to make sure that it wasn't going to break off, where if he went inside and expanded out, he could split it.
Yeah.
So, again, it's all about what you're feeling comfortable with turning. Scott is what we call a professional.
Especially more professional than us, but, no, he's been turning a long time, and, he does a lot of teaching for us during our normal extravaganza when it's live, and they set up a bunch of mini lathes and do some classes and let you actually come in and turn a pin. So, if you're looking for a cool show to attend, our live event normally is a fantastic way to come in and see a lot of the vendors and ask a lot of the questions and actually see a lot of our clubs and other local patrons. They'll come in. They do a lot of classes, demos, and it's a lot of fun. So keep this time of year roughly penciled in. And next year, if we have this live, come on into North Carolina. Great time of year to come visit us anyway. And where we here in Hickory, we're nestled so close to the mountains. A lot of people like to just come and spend the whole weekend and go up to the mountains and watch the leaves change.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a large facility. The whole convention center of Hickory is taken up on the side without carpet, so we don't have to clean as much. But yeah, no, there's a lot of sawdust to be had and a lot of hands-on activities to be had. So we'll see how next year goes. But as of right now, it is marking your calendars for late October 2022.
Mhm.
Back live. I know a lot of the vendors are ready to come back live.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if we'll be. Oh, I'm sure we'll be adding virtual to that list as well. So it'll be live and virtual, and we'll be able to not only show you pre-recorded videos and some live people coming in, but we'll actually be able to show you live events going on at the show. So a lot of cool things, and hopefully next year things get sort of a little tamed down a little, so we can get back to some sort of normalcy and have a blast. Love the show. Love meeting all the people. And, we've enjoyed hanging out with all you guys and folks this week. And hopefully you've been able to catch some stuff and learn some things and take advantage of our deals that we got going on.
You mean deals such as 30% off our books and DVDs?
No, no.
Oh, you're
What about,
talking about the 15% off abrasive discs,
no, not that one either.
15% off sheets.
Mm, close, but no, not that one either.
All right. What about 15% off abrasive rolls?
Come on, Mike. What else you got?
I don't know, 15% off belts.
Oh, man, those are great deals, but that's not quite what I was looking for.
Okay. What about 10% off micro jig?
Oh, I'm game for that. I love micro jig, but there's got to be something else.
Well, what about 10% off Mohawk finishes, aerosol cans
Oh,
and gallons and quarts, huh?
love that. Yeah, especially now that I have a sprayer, I'm using a lot of those aerosols and some of the gallons, but there's got to be more.
Okay. What about 10% off King Arthur?
We're getting close.
What about 10% off cut saw?
Oh, getting warmer.
Okay. 10% off Arbortech until
Ooh,
the end of the month.
yeah, we're gonna have to take advantage of that just to fill up our tech lab with some stuff to be able to do some testing.
That has definitely got to happen.
Mhm.
Yeah, because there was a lot I learned yesterday, and now I'm excited to get my hands on that.
Oh, we're gonna test 2-inch discs in gold. We have to.
Now, it didn't have the graphic for it, but if you are a hand carver or someone looking to do palm carving, relief carving, chip carving, Flex Cut is 20% off. So today is the last day of that deal as well. So 20% off Flex Cut.
Wow,
And then I think this is the biggest show special. Maybe this is the one you were looking for.
that is the one. That is the one.
Tell me about this one. What is
The
exciting you about this?
the free water cooled spindle, which is an $800 value, plus 10% off, depending on which machine you get. That is a fantastic savings. And I believe there's even some accessories that are available that are also on sale. And it depends on the accessory. But, if you go to our website, woodworkingshop.com, and you scroll down to the bottom and look for a shop by brand, and you can go and select the next wave line and go check out all of their machines and take advantage of that free spindle, the HD machine, and get the free spindle, some of the accessories. man, if you're looking to get into CNC, especially after what we showed the other day with the panel and some of the other things, now is the time. And Next Wave, I have not seen them in day with prices the way they are and inflation the way they are. If you don't buy now, you will probably never see that kind of pricing again.
No, not when they overlap like that. And that was something we had special. So really, I don't think they paid attention. I'll be honest with you, to give us 10% and a free spindle. I was like,
Well,
oh,
see, I asked them like 1 month for this, and then the next month I asked them for the next. So it's like it was building, and so
oh,
we've worked hard to build this special pricing just for you guys and gals. Take advantage of it, and man, uh, I won't tell if you won't.
nope. I'm not saying a word because 1,200 plus savings right now.
Yep.
And yeah, and you can get them. They're in stock. They're ready to go.
Yeah, and it's really the assembly on those is very minimal. I mean, you can have the thing assembled in probably an hour, and you can buy a stand, build a cabinet, whatever you want. If you don't want to go through the hassle of building one, we can set you up in a number of ways. Craig has got a universal system that I had on mine when I had a Shark, and works fantastic. So um, but yeah, go take advantage. I mean, it includes the software. The Next Wave line is very unique in that it can run on both the colored handheld colored pendant that they offer, as well as you can connect your PC, your laptop, and run it direct from there using their ready to control software. So it's probably the most versatile, most unique entry level CNC on the market today.
Absolutely.
And at that
And
price,
yeah, at the
you should
price.
buy two of them, then you could do twice as much.
That's a really good point because anything else with that kind of spindle, accessories, that large of a bed, they're going to be much higher in price.
Mhm.
Good call.
Yeah, and with the ability to cut 25 by 25 or 25 by 50, it's a great deal. Yeah, very good deal.
So speaking of deals, you
And
want
they're in
to?
stock at Next Wave,
They're in
which
stock,
is
ready to go.
yep, yep. You place your order and they'll ship out usually within a couple of days. So
Very cool. This is all great information. So woodworkingshop.com, 800-228-0000. If you want to call us, chat with us. But Woodworking Shop Extravaganza, woodworkingextravaganza.com is where you can find all of the past extravaganza information, kind of get an idea of what to look forward to next year.
yeah. And of course, if you missed any of the videos from this week, any of the live stuff, you can go check it all out on our YouTube page, and you can go just scroll till you get to the one you want, watch it, and sit back and enjoy.
That's right. And if you're looking for us on YouTube, you just go to search Woodworking Shop is what we are at, and look for the abrasive and proud of it logo.
Look for it, click it, subscribe, and like it.
Yeah, we're putting out a lot of content, so therefore there's something out there for you as far as not only on just woodworkingshop.com to answer questions there that we get all the time, but also just in general. We're going to start doing a lot of product videos as far as just testing them out, finding out, like Arbortech was a great example because they use it themselves. So now I'm excited and I want to try it, but then I'll show everybody what we're doing with them. So it'll be fun.
Yeah. And maybe some of the videos that we've had this week maybe didn't fit your bill and didn't draw your interest. Go check out last year's extravaganza. We had a lot of other products out there, from wood burning, two different wood burning videos on how to
Mhm.
do wood burning for beginners. We did a video on how to finish a table from start to finish, literally. A
Literally.
lot of cool stuff out there from last year that maybe would be better suited for what you're after. So don't hesitate. Go scroll our content on the YouTube page, find it, and go check it out. Got a lot of cool stuff out there.
Yeah, and one of my favorite was the how to turn wooden hummingbird birdhouses with Jerry Mesemer.
Mhm.
That is a great video. Lots of great comments on that one as far as the way that he goes about it is easy for everybody to do. And also just hearing the story of how he's broken all 10 fingers is just interesting and kind of fun. Jerry is a fun guy for sure.
Yep.
So now we'll check out. Yeah, you got more on Jerry?
No.
Oh.
I had him sign my head.
Yes. I didn't save that picture, but yes, with a Sharpie too.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take to wear off?
Not long.
Okay.
I was going to have it tattooed, but I ran out of time.
And it's the top of your head.
Yeah, it was.
It needs to be the forehead if you're going to tattoo it. Just make it presentable all day.
Now I put it on the back of my head like a billboard.
So if you enjoy what you're seeing here, if you have any questions, let us know in the comments. We'll be glad to answer them. We're going to get started on Scott Caskey's second half of his video here, where he's going to be doing more sanding, and he's going to be showing you how he puts the feet on the bottom of the bowl. Take it away, Chris.
All right. Now that we've got rid of the tailstock and that other big hunk of block in the middle, we're going to go ahead and clean it up and then start sanding. So I'm going to go ahead and move my tool rest in where it's just past center and drop it down just below the center point of here. So when my tool's in there, it'll be right at center or in that general area. So, and as I said, spin the piece since it's really a rough edge, so you know you're not going to hit before you turn the lathe back on. And the whole time we've been removing stock, we've been roughly 750 RPM. So, and also you got to remember, don't put your arm too far over because there is a really nasty edge over there. It'll leave a mark. By the way, people, this little piece right there, doing that's what kind of got me addicted to wood turning. Feeling that little, almost like a rosebud forming on it. Now granted, this pull cut is going to be probably a nasty looking cut on it, but it's real easy to control and you're not going to get a nasty catch. It lets you remove stock very easily. Where if you're doing a push cut, you're liable to get a lot more than you expect. So if you do this, you can do a light cut and get you down to where you're wanting to be. Now we'll take a look. It's slightly high in the middle. I can feel that it's going up. So now when I come in and clean, I'll push and level that out. All right, the transitions and all are pretty good. I know the finish is not going to be the prettiest because it is more punky in the middle. So anyway, get an idea of what we are in the bottom. Since my fingers won't go around, I'm going to use a pair of calipers and just take a check. It's definitely thicker in the bottom, so I can take out some more stock. And go for a little bit longer handled tool so I can get away from it. Yeah, we definitely got some nasty tear out. I'm going to try to start up here and make a good cleaning cut coming in. And since we're getting punky, it's kind of wanting to bounce a bit too. So it looks like my best options right now are to sand. So we're going to go back to using that real coarse grit paper to begin with, and just try to remove most of it by hand without power sanding, and then go from there. And since everybody has masks now sitting around for some ungodly reason, you ought to be using them when you're sanding so you don't ingest all of that. You can come up to the store and ask a lot of the people around here about what can happen if you get a hold of the wrong wood. Me personally, 3 rounds of prednisone, 2 hydrocortisone shots later, I finally got rid of the rash from one piece. So it's well worth wearing a mask of some sort, air filter, something to help keep you from ingesting all the dust, because you don't know what you're allergic to until it's too late. All right, I'm going to go reverse. There we go. And I'm going to start here. And we all know this is what wood turners really love to do, is sand. So don't be afraid to do it. Got rid of that in there, and now I need to focus on this area.
Our spindle mounted Mac mops do really well for this wide open of an application.
That is very true. That's a good idea.
All right, I'm going to go reverse, or back in reverse. Try a little bit more. Alrighty, now we'll go to the power sanding. All right, 80 grit. There is some pretty figure in this wood. A little bit more and we should be able to go to the next grit. All right, I don't know if you noticed that or not, but I slowed the lathe down now that I got the worst of the tear out and stuff in, so it'll actually sand better instead of just removing a lot of stock. But you can still see there's a heavy white spot kind of in this area. I'm going to hand sand the sander on it. Get a fresh piece. That one feels like most of the goodies off of it. Yeah, those technical terms, goodie. All right, now here's the little trick that most people don't do is when you're sanding with a real heavy grit, go down quite a few grits, and I'm going to go like to the 420 and go over it right quick, and it'll make any defects really pop. So I'm going to turn it on and do a quick hit with it just so I can see what it looks like. That'll make any really bad places stand out. So overall, it's pretty consistent. So nothing major standing out. And also with this grain pattern and with the spalting and all in it, if you have little defects in it, it's not going to be the end of the world anyway. So now we're going to go down to the 120.
And for the sake of time, we're going to skip ahead.
angles factor, we're going to go ahead and do the 320. And we'll stop there. And then we'll do the foot on the bottom. So the basic bowl is turned. Now we need to do a foot on the bottom. So let's take this off and let's see what we've got here. This is what our bowl looks like. And we're going to carve the bottom. We're not going to turn it. So what we're going to wind up doing is I'm going to take the chuck off and then put a pad or something on there and then set it on the chuck upside down on the lathe, and then we'll power carve it. All right, now that we've got the bowl turned and sanded for the most part, we're going to do a foot on it. And basically the best thing to do is a 3-point foot, because if you got 3 feet, they'll always be touching. If you do 4 foot, one's going to be either be too high, too low, or something, and you're going to be sitting there rocking the whole time. So just eyeballing thirds. Normally you try to find your 2 widest points and put feet on pointing across from them for your thirds. So I'm going to say right there and there. So I'm going to use my fingers as a guide to think and think. So right here is the other one. So those are going to be my high spots. And I'm going to remove the other stuff around it. And what I'm going to be using is the original Merlin, which was labeled Proxon. And people will say that these things wouldn't hold up. I've had this thing for God knows how long, because it still says Proxon on it. But the key is don't force it. Let the grinder itself do the work. All right, we're getting there. All right, there's our rough shape of our feet, and we'll do the rest with the power sander. Start off with our 80, and then we'll refine it and go from there.
And this would be a good place for our sanding mops or stars.
It would go a lot faster, wouldn't it, if you had those?
It also blends very well. And if you missed the contour sanding videos where we talk about all of those, go check back earlier in the week. Worth a visit to learn a little more about other methods of sanding.
Or you can visit our Woodworking Shop YouTube channel where we have 7 videos on that series uploaded. Don't forget woodworkingextravaganza.com, Klingspor's Woodworking Shop, 800-228-0000. Now, would a scallop disc work better here, do you think? Or do you think his approach with a regular 2-inch disc is fine?
The scallop may interfere in areas where he's trying to get in tight, but the scallop would also transition better up the little knobs of the feet that he's trying to sand to. And that's one of the reasons why I say the contour sanding mops and stars would likely be a little better product for an application like this.
All right, and that's where we're going to start. So, and if you see what I was doing, I just had a set of shop towels on there to raise the center up so I could have something to work off of. But anyhow, we've got a 3-footed natural edge burl bowl out of a block of wood that's been sitting around for a few months in the room. Hope y'all enjoyed it. It sure was fun playing with it. Y'all come and check out the Extravaganza.
Nice.
Yep. We want to thank Mr. Scott Caskey for coming out and doing all of that hard work for us so we could just film it and sit here and watch it.
You know, now what we should do is a video on how to aerosol finish that.
Yep, since that is not finished or sanded all the way, he did get it up to 400, but we've got to go through it and make sure it's okay. Yeah, that'll be something we will be doing, is finishing that bowl. Luckily, it's for my neighbor, so I'll get to be able to see the overall finish and how it holds up over time.
Oh, it's for me?
Neighbor.
Oh.
Not next door to me, like right here, but
oh.
yeah.
Oh. Well, then you're finishing it on your own. You can take it home and spray it with your little special lacquers.
Fine, I will. Speaking of lacquers, 10% off Mohawk finishes. If you haven't gotten into lacquer finishes, Mohawk is a great brand, been around for ages. If you have any furniture that was made in North Carolina, bet you anything it was finished with Mohawk finishes.
Yeah, they got a great line of not only your traditional gallons and your pre-cats and stuff like that, but they've got a lot of toners and touch-up items. So if you're into furniture refinishing or you want to get into furniture refinishing and repair, Mohawk has a full line of products that help you take care of that real well.
Real well is right. Yeah, the originators of touch-up products for sure. Aerosol cans, markers, you name it. And I usually always joke with people, if you've ever been to a hotel room and they have like a darker color wood, more than likely someone has come in for an entire week and refinished and touched up all of that with Mohawk touch-up products.
Yeah, they've been around a long time, and they are fairly local to us, so we have the opportunity to get a lot of stuff from them. We do a lot of business with them, and of course, we've got the best sandpaper to choose from, and now we've got the best finishes to choose from, and everything in between. So no matter what you're looking for, woodworkingshop.com, we got you covered.
Nicely done. So what other show I can do this. This is my
three of
first
those.
take.
We got 3 of those.
You got 3 of those. Harbor Tech 10% off. Until the end of the month, but on select Arbor Tech products, power carving accessories, contour sander, which we found out a lot more of yesterday, as well as the turbo plane. All of them are going to be 10% off. CA glues. We had a video from Morris on Turning Thursday this week that was he showed us how to finish with CA and our new Green Tech sandpaper, and how he made a very nice finish within less than 5 minutes. It was incredible. So for pin finishes or for general woodworking, I use it as a lot of my glue for repairs. The CA glue is 10% off with accessories.
Lots of deals, and if you're not sure what deal is right for you, go check out woodworkingshop.com and just start browsing around. There's bound to be something that'll suit your needs and be on sale.
Absolutely. Or let's do 30% off books. That's right. 30% off books ends today. Get your books and DVDs 30% off. Get them shipped out to you. We'll send it. You'll be there. 15% off abrasive discs. 15% off sheets, 15% off rolls, 15% off belts. I'm wore out after all that savings on sandpaper.
So wait, what you're saying is it's 15% off Klingspor abrasives products.
That's right. 15% off the entire line of Klingspor abrasive products, cut-off wheels, grinding discs, you name it. If Klingspor abrasive makes it, we're selling it at 15% off. Ends today, though. So make sure you stock up for the winter. Get you
well, I
some of
guess
those
that really does match their tagline: more sanding power for your money.
It does, and at 15% off, you can have even more money left over to buy more abrasives or books, whichever you want to do. Hey, I tell you what, why don't you read a book, learn about microjig, and save yourself 10%? That's right, 10% off the entire micro jig line. Chris is a fan. He likes a few of their products.
Yeah, quite a few.
If you're into hand carving, don't forget Flex Cut Tools is 20% off. If you want to get some rasps or jump into power carving with burrs and carbide bits, don't forget 10% off Cutsaw, as well as King Arthur tools. Anything that does not have a power cord from King Arthur is on sale at 10% off.
Lots and lots and lots of deals.
And the best deal of all. Oh, I'm going to show this promo. You ready?
Sure.
You're going to love this one.
Wood finishing, the final step to any project. The uses are universal. It's to beautify, protect, preserve. Most finishes arrive to you in a can, and for decades we have become familiar with paints, varnishes, stains, dyes, all a messy situation in a can. Hard to keep clean and the lid secured, cans are not meant for the shop. They are cylinders, after all, designed to stack in a warehouse. They're round to help flow down a production line, and all you want to do is add a pop of color or protect a crib. Sure, you can use a glass jar, but it doesn't help the taste of your favorite beverage after storing varnish. It's time to stop the loss with Stop Loss bags. Preserve the fresh off-the-shelf quality of wood finishes with the specially formulated 3-ply construction. Prevent the loss of precious solvents while the gas barrier inhibits oxygen penetration into the bag. Each bag holds 1 quart or 1 liter. Easy to open, easy to close. No more prying off lids or pounding them back on. Stop Loss bags, now available at Klingspor's Woodworking Shop.
I had so much fun doing that one, as you can tell. It drives you insane, but I just enjoyed it.
Clearly.
As a finisher, you get really tired of the can situation. They take up a lot of room on a shelf. They really do. After a while, all those cylinders, you get a lot of voids, you get a lot of mess, they dry out, you name it. So having something like a Stop Loss bag is a great additive to the shop to store something. And what I really like was their idea of storing paint colors for the bedroom. Because with all the remodeling that's gone on here in the past, 2 years, sometimes you want a touch-up color just for the bedroom and you want to save it, not have it film over, or save a huge gallon can that only has a little bit left in it. Stop Loss bag is the way to go.
Yeah. I wish they made those in gallons.
That would be fun, but then it'd be a Stop Loss sack.
Yeah.
Okay. So shop woodworkingshop.com for your Stop Loss bag accessories. The silicone funnel, if anything, is well worth the investment just in itself. I think it's $8. And it's a collapsible silicone funnel. You can use that for all kinds of things.
Oh, yeah. So take advantage of that. And what I liked about that product is you can actually mark on the front what kind of paint, what room it went to, mark it up with date. So you got all that pertinent information. So if you do need that later down the line and you've got 3 or 4 colors that are similar, you'll know exactly which room that was for or what date that was used. So a really cool way to store your paints, and the pricing is, for what you get, well worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, extra caps, things like that are available. But yeah, like Chris was saying, as far as writing the date, what product's in there, you can store your solvents in there. If you're getting low on a solvent and you're ready to toss the can out, put it in a Stop Loss bag.
Now, will those hold up to harsher solvents like lacquer thinner and things like that?
Acetone, absolutely. Yeah, the bags are chemically designed to be resistant to the harshest of chemicals in finishing.
What a great idea. Hey, if you're doing a lot of installs or touch-ups, this is great to keep in the install van too. If you're doing a lot of work on the road, keep them secure. True. Obviously, you don't want to just throw them around. But if you're doing a lot of work for customers, and this would enable you to keep some of those customer colors ready to go. Wow, that was a lot.
A lot of custom in there. Yeah.
Yeah. It probably didn't sound the way it did in my head, but it's out there now. So everybody heard it.
We'll go back and edit that out.
Yeah.
But no, with the Stop Loss bag, as long as it's not water-based and you don't allow it to go past freezing. Also, another use that I don't think maybe people had originally thought of was glue. If you want to keep, if you have it in the glue bottle's getting a little low, or the cap's getting a little messy and it's time for a new glue bottle, take the remaining amount, put it into a Stop Loss bag. Also great to have it on the job site as you can have that ready to go at any time. Squeeze it out. You're ready to rock.
Good little product.
It is.
I
You know
think
what else is a good little
I'm
product?
going to buy some of that. Buy one of the kits and start using some of that.
It's a great idea. We did talk on Tuesday. Let me see if I can find it real quick. There it is. So if you are looking for a putty, putties are kind of hard to find right now with a lot of manufacturers out there. And we happen to have stumbled upon a great product that surpasses all of the others in ease of use, actual stainability. You can cut, you can nail it, route it, whatever you want to. It is the Mohawk wood filler. Sorry to cover you up there, Chris. But it is the Mohawk wood filler product. It comes in 2 colors. It comes in alder cherry or maple. It is water-based. It dries very quickly, and you can put lacquer over it, shellac, polyurethanes, latex. It doesn't matter. Anything will go over top of it. I have changed over to using that strictly in the shop due to the fact that when you put something on bare wood, for instance, and then you want to stain it, it will actually take the stain very well. So I use maple for everything. I don't use the alder or the cherry because maple's a little bit more natural in general for what I do. So if you're looking for a putty, I think it goes up to 3/16 inches, the widest that it'll go without having any cracking or shrinking issues. Is glue not glue is water based for the most part, unless it's polyurethane. But if you're going to have it in the van, just make sure that you put it back in the house or take it in so it doesn't freeze. Make sure your freeze thaw limit has been met if you're taking any water based type of product and putting it in the stop loss bag.
And that would be the same application if you left it in a can. Things freeze and thaw. So whether you have it in a can or you have it in a bag, stop lock bag just gives you a little more versatility in how you can store it.
Yeah, because you could really stack them up, and since they lay flat, you can either set them up and lay them in sections like you would a record collection.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that dated a little bit. Or you can, in general, what I like about it, if it does get too cold, is that you can then, kind of knead it to bring it back to life. Because that's one of the things you have to do with glue is that when you warm it up, you also have to then remix it. So kneading it in the bag's a lot faster than trying to mix it up in the bottle.
Well, in theory, not boiling, of course, but you could actually set that whole bag in some warm water.
That is true. Very good call.
And where you can't do that with a can, really. So
it would maybe not work well if it's a non-stick type of pan, or you don't want to scratch that up.
They want to put the can in the pan. Yeah,
go for it. Take that one, run with it.
Yeah. Sorry, I was about to break out into a. Never mind.
Sound like you're getting close, yeah. Oh, let's see, y'all. Just trying to see if there's anything else that we have that's just amazing in every way possible. Oh, yeah. Hey, I'll show this one real quick. Because if anything with the stop loss bag, and we're not just going to keep talking about it, but the collapsible funnel is hands down one of the best little gadgets to have on hand, because it lays flat, so you can put it almost wherever. Anything that you pour through it, you will be able to remove off of it because it is a silicone funnel. It's just a great feature to have altogether. So $7.99. Get yours today at woodworkingshop.com or call us at 800-228-0000.
And if you got questions, you can email us at sales@woodworkingshop.com.
All the questions go there.
Yes. But no, we offer a lot of products, and anything that outside of the show. If you ever have any questions, you can always reach out to us through our chat line on our website. You can reach out to any of those links our numbers we've put below, and we're here to help. So if there's application questions, maybe you've got questions on which machine or power tool is right for you, which sanding product is right for you, we are here to help. Mike and I both are avid woodworkers. We actively use almost all of the products that we offer. And if we don't actively use it, we usually have at least used it once. So, we've got firsthand knowledge on a lot of the stuff, and, in our own personal shop. So if there's any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We can drive and get you set up for the right thing for you.
Absolutely. Or be able to answer the question based off of your application. That's how we do. A lot of our questions are, especially when it comes to abrasives, what's the best that you have? And it always comes down to what's your application, because it may not be the best for that application. It may be better for a different one. So anything and everything, please feel free to let us know, sales@woodworkingshop.com, or on our website, woodworkingshop.com. We also have the little chat box down at the bottom. You can pop that open and just say, hey, I've got a question about this. It's always helpful if you give us item numbers, but if not a big deal. We'll just expedite the process, if you will. Say, hey, I'm looking at XYZ. Will it work with ABC? And then we get on it for you and find out.
And we can get it answered between you and me.
I was wondering if you're going to take that. By the way, not sponsored.
Sorry, had to go there.
You did a great job.
So yeah, I mean, no matter what it is, now, even this morning I answered an email from a customer asking, "What's the best disc for lathe sanding in 2 inches?" That's a loaded question because, as we just watched from Scott, there's a variety of options, and depending on what you're sanding, would drive the best to worst disc option. So, and in some cases, depending on the grit, may not even be the same material option.
That's right. And the cloth back better than paper. The real rule of thumb is when it's a coarser, more aggressive application, cloth is better. But when you're trying to get into finished sanding and you want to make a nice, flat, smooth surface, you step away from the cloth and you get paper or film. There's a lot of basic 101s. We covered that Monday afternoon. So if you want to find out more about Klingspor abrasives as well as just general abrasive 101, so just general abrasive knowledge, we had loaded up a presentation for that Monday's episode. And you can find all that at Woodworking Shop on YouTube or Facebook and now Twitch. We got it all.
Yeah. And you can keep up to date with some of the things going on, even on Instagram.
That's right. And we, Chris and I do a live usually every Tuesday. Of course, this week, we were doing live all week, so we didn't do one. But if you have questions or you want to find out of a product you want to have featured on Abrasive and Proud of It Live, we will definitely cover that live for you. And we'll, get in the shop and be able to actually show you something. If that's what you're looking for, let us know. Because if, we're here to help you out in your woodworking journey. We just have the luxury, I guess you will, of being able to do it live and not be embarrassed to mess up live on television. Hey,
I mess up all the time in real life, so I'm not afraid at all.
It's a daily occurrence for myself. Yeah, definitely.
People expect it from me. So we've had a blast this week. It's been a lot of fun.
This has. I can't wait for tomorrow, though. You know what tomorrow is?
Day off.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's been a long 2 weeks. Oh, but we do it for you guys. Ladies, gentlemen, we are Klingspor's Woodworking Shop. I am Mike Z.
I am Chris, still here.
Very good. So don't forget woodworkingextravaganza.com to find out all of the past events, woodworkingshop.com to get the load down on 30% off books, 15% off Klingspor abrasives and certain safety gear, 10% off most everything else ends today. So make sure you shop now, throw it in the cart, buy it.
And don't forget to jump on that Shark HD deal with 10% off. The free spindle will go through the end of the month, but man, that 10% off ends this afternoon. So take advantage of that.
Yep. And so if you miss it and you miss the 10%, at least you have the free spindle offer that is still going on. So, and remember, that's for the Shark HD 520 and 510. And you said that's what, 25 by 25 for the 510 and 25 by 50 for the 520? Okay.
Those are the cutting capacities, not the overall machine size. So it's a pretty good deal. And if you missed the deal, call me Monday.
Yes. Chris is our CNC resident expert here to answer your CNC questions. We'll also be doing more CNC related information. We also have Kyle from learnyourcnc.com we'll be working with in the upcoming months. So there's a lot happening and going on with Klingspor's Woodworking Shop. So we just want to say thank you to everybody for watching today. We hope you jump in on these specials while you can and save yourself a couple of dimes.
Yeah. Thank you for your business and your time, and we do appreciate it.
Absolutely. So for Klingspor's Woodworking Shop 21st Annual Woodworking Extravaganza Virtual Edition, I'm Mike Z.
I'm Chris.
Again.
We'll see you next time.
Have a great day, everybody.
See you.